Hello, hello, hello. So, as promised, this week we'll be going over the top 5 doubloon ships to get before the price change happens in patch 14.6 will be in July. So, as of this video, you probably have about 2 to 3 weeks before then. So, quickly do your doubloon shopping before then because these following ships will be increasing in price. So, it's better to get them now before the prices change in that patch. So to start it all off, we're going to be hopping right back into it. The first ship on this list is going to be the Kid. Now the Kid is a very old premium in World of Warships, been around for a very long time. You are able to get a DCP, has a nice DCP, a nice smoke for support, American smoke, with a nice heal, even taking engine boost and defensive AA. Personally, I would run engine boost, but if you want to run defensive AA, you can as well. The guns on this ship are pretty decent, with 527mm guns with a decent range on them as well, with a nice reload. You do get one rack of torpedoes that have a 9.2 kilometer range, which also is nice as well. The anti-air is okay for a tier 8 destroyer, so it does all right. It's not gonna destroy all the squads, but it'll definitely scare some CVs away. Maneuverability is really nice when you have that engine boost as well. So that's why I recommend the engine boost. So really nice maneuverability with that ship. Concealment is 5.8 kilometers, which is a really good concealment for a tier 8 destroyer. So overall, this ship is a very strong American destroyer. Highly recommend buying it before the price change. And as a teaser, how much is this ship's price changing in the upcoming patch?
It is changing by quite a notable increase. Let me just pull up the chart here. Kid right now will cost 9,400 doubloons,
Mm-hmm.
and with the price increase, it'll go up to 11,000, which is a 17% increase or 1,600 doubloons. So
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit.
Yeah, that is quite a bit for sure of an increase. So, what would you say? What was your thoughts on the Kid then? I did my thoughts. So, what are your thoughts on this ship?
So, kid, if you take a Fletcher or Benson, you take away the one torpedo rack and then you give it a heal, and that's how you get the kid. And it's considered a pretty good ship. The U.S. guns are solid, although you will notice their floatiness, and one torpedo rack does hurt a lot. But that extra heal gives you a lot of sustainability and flexibility in the late game, where other destroyers will probably be out of health, you will still probably have like at least half health, maybe a heal ready to go. And that just alone lets you do plays that might be too risky for any other ship. And also it's nice that it gives you something to to sustain damage against, say, carriers. If a Benson were to get nuked by a carrier for 9k, his game is practically done. For you, it's like, it hurts, but I'll come back. Give me a heal.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, thank you for that. So, moving on to the second ship on this list, it is going to be the Cossack, one of the strongest destroyers at tier 8. Of course, it had to be on this list. The Cossack has 8 120mm guns with 11.9 kilometer range, has very decent HE and AP with a 5-second reload. This ship comes with a short burst smoke, which allows it to be able to enter and exit engagements rather quickly, and doing it over and over. So pretty much you're able to lay down your smoke, go dark, escape the area, then you can come back after 40 seconds of the reload of the 61 seconds of the cooldown of the smoke, and you come back, you can fight again, use your smoke to go dark, and then leave again, and you can repeat the process over and over again as long as you have smoke. You also have a engine boost as well for 8%, which is really nice as well, which gets this ship to a very maneuverable speed, about 40 knots ish. It does get a 3-kilometer Hydra as well, which is very useful for detecting torpedoes, as well as pushing destroyers that are sitting in smoke. So overall, the ship is very maneuverable, has very decent guns. It has 4 torpedoes on this ship with 10-kilometer range that can be single fired. So if you do see a bow in cruiser that's in an island or a bound battleship, you can single fire those torpedoes and do a massive amount of damage to that ship. So this ship overall is one of the top gunboat destroyers at tier 8. There aren't that many destroyers that can outdo it, and overall is a very strong tier 8 premium. The ship gets very poor anti-air though, so don't be expecting to really shoot down anything. Concealment is 5.5, one of the strongest concealments at tier 8. So overall, this thing is a destroyer hunting machine, and overall a very strong ship in this list. What are your thoughts on this SAT, and what is the price change for this ship?
So I'll answer the price change first. The Cossack goes from about 9,900 doubloons up to the standard 11,000.
Hmm.
So starting next patch, it will increase by about 10 to 11%. And that is a pretty big increase for what's considered one of the best destroyers at tier 8, if not the best.
Hmm.
So yeah, Cossack is a very common recommendation for anyone that wants to get a tier 8 destroyer, and for good reason. Its concealment lets it bump spot even the legendary Kagero and her concealment, and the Japanese torpedo destroyer concealment. It has the guns to demolish anything at close range, and it also gets speed boost. It gets short smoke. It gets hydro, so you can take these short engagements pretty easily. And if something goes wrong, oh, just smoke away. The only real weakness I can think of is her lack of torpedoes, and sometimes she has trouble fighting ships at longer range just because of her super floaty arcs.
Hmm.
But she can easily get close if she wants to. So it she is a powerful ship in both randoms, ranked, and if you see, and then whenever clan battles is tier 8, she is a common pick, and yeah, she is a common pick for any team. So if you're looking for a tier 8 destroyer, I would definitely put Cossack at the top of my list to get right now.
Hmm. So thank you for that SAT. So the third ship on this list is going to be another destroyer. Because a lot of the ships that are being upped in price are destroyers. It is going to be the Le Terrible. The Le Terrible is one of the fastest destroyers at tier 8, having a top speed of 45.2 knots. And with its engine boost, it goes up to about 50-ish knot, like 52, 53, sorry, 54 knots-ish. So it's very, very fast for a tier 8 destroyer. Very hard to catch. It's also a great gunboat destroyer as well, having 539 millimeter guns with a 12.3 kilometer range, and also has a reload booster as well that helps it be able to fight enemy destroyers that are near it. So this ship has great speed, great maneuverability. The guns unfortunately don't have the quickest turning radius, so it does turning time. So it is hard for it to kind of aim its guns if you're turning too quickly. So you do have to be aware of that. The ship does have 9 8-kilometer torpedoes with a 77-second reload, which is a pretty nice reload for a tier 8 destroyer. Unfortunately, with the French destroyer, it does have very bad anti-air, 3-kilometer range. Yeah, don't be expecting to shoot down any aircraft at all in this ship at all. The concealment is also not the best either for being a French destroyer. So don't be trying to think that you're going to be able to just sneak up on the torpedo destroyers unspotted. You'll have to be zooming at them to be able to catch them, which this thing is perfectly capable of doing with how fast it is. So if you have RPF on this ship and you're able to hunt down a destroyer, you will wreak havoc in the match that you're in. But what are your thoughts on this ship, SAT?
If you're looking for a fast gunboat destroyer, then Le Terrible fits your bill easily. If you have any experience with the French destroyers, like Kleber, or even just Le Fantasque, then Le Terrible plays pretty much about the same. It's slightly different. It's just slightly different stats. You have much faster firing guns. You do lose a little bit of concealment and some speed boost, but otherwise you retain everything else that makes the French destroyers good.
Mm-hmm.
So as for the price change, it goes from 9,800 doubloons up to 11,000, which is a 12% increase. So as you've noticed, pretty much everything we've recommended is destroyers, and that is because they are the biggest losers of this price change, which the vast majority going up in price. So that's why we highly recommend getting those destroyers right now. Everything else you can get it for about the same price or even cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
but destroyers, nope. This is kind of your last call.
Yep, for sure. So moving on to number 4, it is going to be another destroyer, and one of my personal favorites. It is going to be the Loyang. The Loyang is one of my favorite destroyers in this game. It has 427 millimeter guns with a nice 3.3-second reload, and it has 10 9.2 kilometer torpedoes with a 109-second reload. So pretty long reload for those torps. But where this ship really shines comes in with its smoke and its hydro combo. It is one of the very rare destroyers that has a smoke hydro combo at tier 8. It has a 5.5 kilometer hydro detection for destroyers and a 3.8 detection for torpedoes. So what this thing usually does is in ranked or in randoms, it'll move toward a cap, get into the cap, and try to push into an enemy destroyer that's in the cap with it. Once it does, it'll have its hydro active and its smoke and push into the destroyer and either permaspot it when it's in smoke, or it'll see an enemy smoke and then pop its hydro to permaspot in the smoke while it lets its allies farm out the target for it, so it doesn't have to. So the ship does have a lot of utility and is very useful for that with that hydro and the smoke. The ship's maneuverability is really nice with a 39.9 top speed, and the concealment is also pretty decent as well. When it is built in, it goes down to, let me just double check real quick what it is, because it goes down to 5.8. So it has a 0.3 kilometer difference between its concealment and its hydro. So pretty much no matter what, if you get spotted in this ship and you just push toward whatever is spotting you, you're going to spot it either by its own detection or by using that hydro, so very useful. And if you don't want to use the hydro, you can use DFAA or engine boost, up to you, but I personally prefer the hydro for utility, but that's your own personal choice. But overall, this is one of my favorite tier 8 destroyers, and a lot of fun in ranked. But SAT score, what do you think of the Loyang, and how much is the price difference for this ship? Isn't this ship the one that gets hit the hardest?
One of the hardest, definitely. It actually is the cheapest tier rate at 8,300.
Mm-hmm.
So to go up to the standard 11,000, it jumps up in price by 2,700 doubloons,
Mm-hmm.
which is a over 30% increase in cost.
Yeah, that's a crap ton.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Loyang. If you're wanting to get Loyang, like for certain, then you have to get it right now. The only ship there's only a few ships that are worse off, and those are a little bit lower tier. So
Mm-hmm.
anyways, Loyang, you take her because she has one of the best, she's one of the, like, oldest utility destroyers around. She was actually she was a Pan-Asian destroyer before the Pan-Asian concept was fleshed out. So she actually has US style smoke,
Mm-hmm.
and then she carries a 5.5 hydro on top of that. So you can give amazing support for your team, whether it's sitting cap and then hydro bully the other destroyers out, or laying the US smoke for your cruisers and then screening them for torps with your superior hydro.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive wise, she's okay at it, but definitely requires a lot of she leans into her smoke hydro combo in order to come out positive on those trades, because she doesn't really have the firepower to stand up in a direct fight against anything of equal tier.
Yeah, no, she does not. I completely agree with you. If you're just trying to do an open water fight with this thing, it's not going to do well. You have to use that smoke hydro combo to really pull out the wins in this ship. But anyway, before we go to the final ship of this top 5 recommended doubloon ships to get before the price change, we have our honorable mentions. All right, so our first honorable mention is going to be a tier 7 destroyer. It is going to be the Blisewika. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. But as a teaser, I'll let you explain why this ship is on this list as an honorable mention, as well as mentioning the next honorable mention.
So the Vita, unfortunately, is one of the biggest losers of this price change. It goes from 51,000 doubloons up to the standard of 7,500, which in turn is a price increase of 2,400 doubloons, or about almost 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Boris Vita is okay as a gunboat. This has solid guns. It has 8-kilometer torpedoes. The surface detection is pretty bad though, but it's more of a longer range gunboat, so it's not that bad. So the reason it's an honorable mention is because you can also get the ship for coal.
Yep.
It's the coal counterpart is also going up by a drastic amount. So it is in your best interest to actually get it for coal. But if you don't have the coal and you don't think you'll get it in time, and you just happen to have the balloons and really want the ship, then it would be probably a better idea to get it right before it goes up in price. As for the second honorable mention, I would recommend the Sims, which is the Tier 7 US destroyer. So like all the other destroyers we've mentioned, Sims is going up in price. It's going from 5,300 doubloons up to 7,500. So still not as bad as the Boyd's Pizza, but still quite bad, slightly over 40%. Sims herself is a pretty standard US destroyer. It has the same US guns. It's actually quite maneuverable as well. One of the most maneuverable destroyers of any tiers. But what sets her apart what makes her noteworthy is her Mimi torpedoes.
Mm-hmm.
So these are some of the slowest torps on a destroyer at around 43 knots or so. Those don't hit very hard, and yeah, they're very slow. They don't do much damage, but it's pretty funny when they do hit.
Yeah, they are extremely slow. They are 49 knots, which is still equally as slow. Pretty much sea mines at that speed. So yeah, very
Okay.
extremely slow.
Not as slow as Black's torpedoes, but they were the original sea mines before Black came in.
Mm-hmm. All right, so for our final top 5 ship to get before the price change for doubloons, let us know what your guys' suggestions are as well for this as well. I'm curious what you guys think are the best ships for the doubloon changes before they happen in July. The final ship is going to be the legendary war canoe, the Okhotnik. So Okhotnik is pretty much the Soviet version of how many guns and how many torpedoes can I stick on a ship? And well, this is what it is. This thing is literally just a straight line with guns and torpedoes on it. This ship has 730 millimeter guns that has very nice HE, very strong against destroyers, as well as AP that can citadel cruisers when they are broadside, and it will do massive damage to them and almost death strike them. It's very deadly against cruisers. It has 12 4.5 kilometer torpedoes, as well as having very decent maneuverability for how long it is, and it has an engine boost and a smoke as well. The ship has a 5.7 kilometer concealment, which is really nice for a tier 5 destroyer, which allows you to kind of just speed in and try to yellow rush a battleship with these torps, because these are some hard hitting torpedoes with a really fast reload of 42 seconds. So you can legit just use an island as cover, rush up onto a battleship, and just dev strike it with this salvo, and then move on to your next target like nothing even happened. So overall, this ship is a lot of fun. If you just want to SEAL Club, take a 21-point commander in with this ship, you'll have a wonderful time playing this ship. Now, what are your final thoughts on this ship and the price changes overall, SAT?
So for price changes, it is going up by a significant percent increase, about 16% or so.
Mm-hmm.
It's going up in terms of cost. It's only going up by 500 balloons. I mean, tier 5 ships are cheap overall, but it is a price increase nonetheless. Okhotnik herself is actually quite fun compared to the other tier 5s that are going up in price. Like, as Bo said, she has a ton of guns. They may reload on the slower end, but just firing all of the guns into a port destroyer at once is pretty funny. And then, of course, when you fight a battleship, if you do get close enough, you can just spam out torpedoes. Think if they're foolish enough to think they can rush you.
Mm-hmm.
It is a tier 5, and it is a tier that's ripe for seal clubbing. So if you want to clown on some poor guy with your 21-point captain, or you want to bring justice to the system by destroying the kamikazes you run into, then Okhotnik is a really good ship.
Well, thank you so much for that, SAT. I do greatly appreciate it. But that's going to be it for today. Make sure you guys write down in the comments your own ships you think are worth buying before the price change. Also, we will see you guys in the next video where we'll be talking about the top 5 steel ships to get before the price change happens. So I will see you guys in the next video, and I will talk to you all later.